Hello everyone, and welcome to a little bit of a different video today. People who've been watching this channel for a while, or maybe even for not that long, will have noticed that we're a bit of a constructed focused channel here. We play a lot of classic constructed, a lot of blitz. But with limited callings coming up, nationals coming up, and of course skirmish season being draft focused, we thought maybe we'd put up a bit of a draft video here. Just got me following along, doing a Tales of Aria draft, and I'm going to run through all my picks and all the packs and give you sort of my thought process behind what happened and why I picked the cards I did. So let's just jump right into it and see how we go. Okay, and here we go. So opening up the first pack here, we're mostly trying to find stuff that'll keep us super open and figure out, what's the best card. And here, of course, we find a Majestic, but it's Ice Storm, which is, it's kind of tempting to look at a Majestic and go, wow, this card's going to be really good, right? But the double fuse is obviously quite tough to get online, so most of the time it's not really going to do much. We also have a few, really looking at the elemental cards here, like Lightning, Earth, and Ice. In terms of those pickings, there's not amazing cards. There's a few decent class cards, like Overflex Blue is kind of okay. You prefer the red and yellow, but I'm kind of mostly looking to pick one of the elemental cards so that we can go into one of the heroes that play those elements. So if we picked Earth, we'd be going into Briar or Oldhim, things like that. I'm kind of looking at the So Tomorrow here, mostly because it's a good Earth card. It's good to play out from Arsenal. I'm just going to pick that. I think possibly here there are some slightly different picks we could have gone for, like possibly Flash, although Blue Flash isn't amazing. We also have quite a few decent class cards which we could have gone into. Like picking the Ice Storm was probably not the play, mostly because it's basically like an all or nothing card. You're either playing it definitely and it's really good, or you're not playing it at all and it's going to be just awful. So I think out of the cards that you pick to go flexibly, I think possibly the So Tomorrow was the best pick, although I could see a argument for Icequake there as well, or Flash, or possibly the Icy Encounter there. Of course, on to the next pick. Here we are still mostly trying to stay open. We see an Electrify there. That is a really nice card. Bramble Spark, great for going into Briar, but I'm not sure if we want to try and pick a class just yet. We don't have too much going on beyond that. There is a Weave Lightning in there, which is obviously quite a strong pick early as well. It keeps you open, it does lots of damage. Electrify and Weave Lightning kind of fit the same role. I do end up picking the Weave Lightning here, mostly because it really does give you that go wide option, especially in Lexi. Okay, pack 3 here. Still looking for, stuff to keep us open, but we can kind of start looking towards some powerful class cards if we don't find anything too exciting. In terms of Earth, we do have Burgeoning Yellow, which can be quite a decent attack. It's not the worst thing in the world to Arsenal. In terms of powerful class cards, we got the Flake Out, Dominate Arrow, and Valor Flash, which is one of the better cards to be playing in Runeblade. So since really the pickings for elemental cards aren't amazing here, we're probably going to go with that. Meanwhile, keeping track of a few things, there's nothing really showing that things are being cut off here. There's still a decent amount of Earth and Ice. Lightning's a little bit slim pickings, but I can't really make conclusions from that just yet. So that was kind of more just a hedge pick. We're still being pretty indecisive here. Considering we've picked a couple Lightning cards and a Runeblade card, we're kind of leaning towards Briar to see if that maybe is open, but we're definitely open to playing Lexi still. We've got a few decent cards here. Polar Blast, Winter's Grasp is quite decent in that it just blocks 3 and it's an elemental card. Some of these other cards aren't looking too enticing. Blue Thump is quite good for Oldhim. Yellow Autumn's Touch, also not a bad one, especially since we're leaning towards Briar. But at this point, I'm kind of mostly just thinking through, like, is possibly Oldhim open? Are we supposed to be trying to lean more towards that? Because there's quite a few Ice and Earth cards in this pack, and decent Guardian cards that we're kind of going, oh, maybe that's more open. But we'll keep feeling around for the signals, and we'll just pick the Autumn's Touch and hope we can play some Briar later. Okay, so looking through this pack, there's a decent card there for Lexi in Chilling Ice Vein and Dazzling Crescendo and Snapshot, Bolt and Shot. With so many solid Lexi cards in this pack. It's really looking like Lexi's quite open here. If there were some Lexi drafters further down the line from us, pretty sure there'd be a lot less Lexi cards in this pack. So the real thing to look for here is just what do we pick. Like Heaven's Claws is also quite a solid lightning card to pick just because it's the same thing. You block 3, deals a lot of damage. I do pick that, and then we're kind of just hoping to wheel some of those Lexi cards. Like I'm really leaning towards playing Lexi now. And here we open up and immediately just see like Mark of Lightning, quite a strong piece of equipment, and I'm just willing to snap up pretty much all equipment here. We also see quite a good Ranger card in Overflex in the back there, and Buzzbolt. In terms of elemental cards, there's not really much left. There's quite a few cards for Ranger though still in this pack. So that's kind of what we're thinking of at the moment. And here again, like one of the best head equipments for Ranger, apart from the legendary of course, Honing Hood. Just a great way to set up your arsenal. And the fact that this is still in the pack like midway through this first pack is quite a good sign. So I think we're fully committing here to Lexi, and we're just going to try and snap up all that stuff that's going to be coming our way, because from the last few packs we've seen, it's just good pickings all around. So now we're sort of committing to Lexi. We're going, okay, what's the best arrow here? We've got Dazzling Crescendo for the go again, which I think is quite a bit better than the old ice arrow there. In terms of this pack, there's nothing amazing for us. Invigorate is not the worst card to be picking here, because if we're going to be trying to fuse lightning a lot, we're going to be trying to get some big arrows dominated like that. This pack is also kind of coming down to just class cards, and there's a decent amount of Lexi cards here. Buzzbolt is quite solid, and considering we've picked a lot of lightning cards, we're probably going to end up lightning Lexi. And I don't really like Flake Out that much, considering you can just dominate with the bow whenever you want. We're just going to go with Buzzbolt, and we're probably going to lean towards a lightning Lexi build here now. Coming around, we've got a couple of solid picks here. Considering this is like one of the few ice cards we've been able to find, and we might end up picking a few ice arrows, I might just go with the Frost Fang here, just so that we can try and fuse ice a little bit more. And come back to us is this Bolton Shot. Now that is quite strong. A few cards didn't come back, so there's probably some other people who've recognized that Lexi is open as well, but I think we've jumped on at an okay time here to continue drafting Lexi, and we just got a whole bunch of Bolton Shots in a row, so that's going to be quite strong. And a Rejuvenate as the last pick, doesn't really matter. So going into the second pack, we're probably hoping that whoever's been drafting Lexi across from us is not directly to our left, but I think we've got a pretty good start for a Lexi deck here. Just looking at lightning mostly, with a little bit of ice possibly, but we're looking to try and play a bunch of dominated arrows. So pack 1 of pick 2, we're really just looking for stuff that's really going to make our Lexi deck tick. So Electrify is not a bad one. We've got some lightning cards to fuse with. Nothing particularly exciting in terms of rares and things, so I think we're just going to try and pick up this Electrify as a solid lightning card, or possibly Heaven's Claws. Winter's Grasp's not a bad one as well, because we are probably going to be a bit light on ice, so we might need a few ice cards just to help fusion. And here we're just kind of trying to decide between Heaven's Claws and Electrify. Electrify is probably the best as sort of a aggressive option. Heaven's Claws is just going to be utility and a resource card mostly. So still trying to pick for power at this point. Twine Lightning's not a bad start, it's always good to have non-arrow attacks, just so you're not clogging up your arsenal too much. And so you're not relying too much on activating your bow. So it's good to go with Twine Lightning here, I think. Looking at this pack, we've got another Electrify, and looking at, another Honing Hood too. Got a Foil Majestic here in Blizzard. Blizzard not really the best card in Limited. There's not really too many attacks with Go Again going around. We're more seeing like lots of big attacks and lots of Dominate and things like that. So it's not really going to help us that much. A blue Electrify is not the worst thing in the world either. It's good to fuse with. It's nice to have a few blues as well. And getting more Electrifies here, definitely gonna have a lot of buffs to go with these arrows that we've got. So not really much else in the pack that's really drawing my eye. Icequake's not a bad one either, but I do really like, considering that we're probably not going to be going too wide, especially Lexi only really attacks twice a turn, and giving heaps of Frostbite tokens isn't going to happen that much. So we are going to go with the Electrify here. Okay, so for this next pack here, well, obviously there's the Lightning Surge in the front. It's not the best card in Lexi. Obviously, if you have it in Arsenal, you're going to have Go Again anyway because of the ability of Lexi. But, you know, it's another one of those attacks that's good to start the turn with, and you don't have to load with the bow in order to get it going. While it's not at its best in Lexi, it's still quite solid. Okay, and now this pack, obviously, Overflex, one of the best cards to build around in Lexi. Just being able to give massive Dominate arrows for only 1 mana as well, and being able to reload, so it saves you on some resources and loading. Definitely a strong pick. Here we find a Ball Lightning, definitely one of the stronger lightning cards to have, especially in a Lexi deck where you want to have all these on-hit triggers and you're going quite wide. So yep, definitely going to go with the Ball Lightning here. Dazzling Crescendo is not a bad one, but I feel like we can wheel something like that. And for this pack, there's a little bit of slim pickings here. We do have one Buzzbolt. I mean, it's our only real option here. This could be a sign that there's a little bit of Lexi drafting going on towards our left, but honestly at this point it's a bit of a moot point there. We're hard into Lexi, and we're still getting a whole bunch of good stuff that we want to be drafting, so not too much to worry about really. And what do we find in this pack? Well, probably not too much. There is a Winter's Grasp there, which is going to probably be the pick, mostly just because we need a bit more Ice Fusion. There is Polar Blast as well, but Polar Blast isn't quite as strong in Lexi as in Ultim, especially because the Dominate is much easier to attain. And this pack, there's not heaps for us either. There is a blue there though, which, you know, you got to have your blues, and it's as good a time as any to pick them. So yeah, it kind of feels like there's some Lexi draft going on to our left, but we'll probably have quite a strong third pack. Okay, another Buzzbolt, that's always a solid pick. Blizzard Bolt, probably, I mean, it is a blue, which is nice. We might need some more blues, but we can always pick those up later. And we're more likely to be able to fuse the Buzzbolt. And another yellow Buzzbolt. Definitely can't say no to that, and there's not really anything else in the pack for us, so it's not a bad pick. Nothing much here either. We probably won't be playing that Ragamuffins hat because we already have the hood, but deprive someone else of it, I guess. And another Honing Hood. That's making me confused. I guess everyone who's drafting Lexi has already got their hoods, so they don't need them. And the final pack here. Let's see what we can find. Hopefully some good Lexi stuff. Alright, some solid elemental cards, but nothing really to call home about. Yeah, this pack's not really that amazing for us. There's nothing particularly jumping out at me that, oh, this is definitely a slam pick. There is another Electrify there, and it is a blue, so we're definitely not too sad to be drafting that, but it could have been better. Alright, hopefully this next pack's fine. Another Electrify. It's an Icy Encounter, I guess. Blue Overflex, not that amazing. Oh, whoever's drafting Bride's gonna like that, Suede Hides. But yeah, Icy Encounter. We do need a few more ice cards, I feel like, so we'll just go with that. Yet again, not really a strong pack for us. I think this is kind of how the pack distributions worked out. Nothing to be too worried about. Not like there's like a Lexi to our direct right or anything. Yeah, so we'll probably just be going with this Coat of Frost here. It's always really, really good to grab your equipment while you can in this format. It's a bit rarer than in other formats, so... Oh, and then of course there's another one immediately after. But we do have a red Overflex, which I'm really glad to be picking here. So kind of glad we got the Coat of Frost last pack, and now we can just grab this powerful red Overflex, which we have our second of now. Alright, so in this pack, see a couple of decent cards, I suppose. There's quite a few Winter's Grasps. We've got some arrows. I think, yeah, the Lightning Surge is a solid pick there, just to get a few more lightning cards in the deck. Yeah, Blizzard Bolt. We've got a few ice cards now, so we might be able to fuse it reasonably well, and having a 5 attack arrow is definitely a good deal, even if we can't fuse it. Alright, well, Snapshot is quite a tempting one, but it's not quite as good in Limited as it is in Constructor, I feel like. So we're probably not going to go with that one. The Heaven's Claws is a solid piece just to round out our blue count and our lightning count. Alright, so this pack here, there's not heaps for us here, really. There is at least one Ranger card in there, so at least that's something. But yeah, the Runaways seems like the better pick there, just because it's nice to have a little bit more blocking. potential, and we don't really need more blues. We're just grabbing blues left, right, and center here now. Oh, we get a red Frazzle. That is definitely a nice pick to have this late in the draft. And, well, yep, it's kind of drying up a little bit here now. I suspect there's now a couple Lexi drafters at the table, but, you know, our deck's probably pretty solid now. I don't think we need to worry too much about losing some picks at this late stage. Okay, last couple picks here. Oh, we at least get a nice flake out at the end. We could grab a Winter's Grasp here, but I'm less enthused about the red, just because it doesn't really pay for itself that well. Just grab one of the blue arrows here. Nothing too much to think about. Nice yellow flake out at the end. And a Guardian card, which we don't need. So we have a pretty decent Lightning Lexi deck here. We've got a little bit of ice in there, but nothing really to speak home about. What we're really trying to do with this deck is that we play a big non-attack action at the start, which is going to buff our attack by a lot. So we've got 3 overflexes, which is really important there. Electrify also kind of does the same thing, but we can dominate arrows so that they're guaranteed to hit, so the electrify effect happens. We've also got a Weave Lightning there as well, which is going to do the same thing. Invigorate can also do that, but it's less reliable because you're not always going to be able to fuse. But we have quite a good repertoire of lightning arrows. So we have the Frazzle, the Buzz. We have quite a few Buzz Bolts. We've got 5 of varying colors, and Dazzling Crescendo is also quite nice. Similarly to the Entwine Lightning as well. Kind of does the same thing, but it doesn't take up an arsenal slot like Dazzling Crescendo would. Yeah, so all in all, quite a strong Lexi deck. We did end up going 2 wins, 1 loss in this draft. We played one of each hero as our opponents. We had a close game versus Bri, but we managed to dominate them out enough that they got taken down. Played against an Oldhim, which there were, I believe, a couple of Oldhim players in the draft, and they were sitting quite close to each other, so I think they kind of cannibalized each other a little bit, so weren't the best Oldhim decks ever. And I played against Lexi, which is who I lost to, and it was a very similar plan to our Lexi. Like, both our decks were quite strong, had lots of buffs, and doing big dominate arrows, and it was kind of close, but I felt like I lost by a decent amount. So that's my quick run through of this draft, everyone. I hope this is kind of informative to you. If you'd like to see a little bit more limited focus stuff like this, possibly I could follow a draft from start to finish, record the matches as well, and just show the entire process of going through a draft like this. If you'd like to see something like that, let us know. Give us some feedback. Let me know how you thought about this video, or, you know, give us some suggestions for future videos. You know, anything's helpful like that. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.